Good evening and welcome to the LaRouche Organization Weekly Battle Report. Today is Wednesday, September 3rd. I'm Michelle Aaron, your host, and we have quite an interesting report for you tonight. Will the West join the new paradigm for humanity that is breaking out all over the world? Or will we blow it up? This week, the international LaRouche movement worked to convey to a blocked, uninformed, and misinformed West the wonderful transformation taking place in nations of Asia and the global South, like the 20-plus countries that participated in last weekend's summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And we offer the potential that our own nations might drop the recent decades' belligerence and economic and cultural decay and join that new paradigm. This past week, the LaRouche movement was out in the streets. Jose Vega was talking to his constituents in the Bronx. We spoke to students at universities, workers at Labor Day events, passers-by on the busy streets near Paris, France, and at a demonstration for Palestine in Sweden. We'll also present this evening a new historical educational program of the LaRouche Organization and an item of LaRouche covered in the news. So first to the Bronx, New York, where LaRouche movement leader Jose Vega is doing what many, many more people should do. He's not merely complaining about his representatives, he's running against them. Here is a video published by his campaign last week when Jose went to educate his constituents on what the sitting Congressman Richie Torres is doing to support genocide in Palestine. And Jose was explaining that he is running for Congress to oppose such crimes and create a different world.
Richie Torres, we coming for you.
So it turns out that Israel's biggest cheerleader, Richie Torres, was personally profiting off of the slaughter and genocide of the Palestinian people. Not only was he voting against ceasefire resolutions, not only was he voting to send money, arms, and weapons to Israel, he was investing in the same companies that were producing missiles, bombs, bullets that would be used to kill 80% of the casualties in Palestine, which turned out to be innocent civilians. That's the person who represents this area. And that's who I'm here to talk to the constituents. See, he was here 3 days ago in McKinley Houses.
Hello, it's Congressman Torres from the Bronx. I'm here at McKinley Houses in the South Bronx.
And so I want to talk to the constituents to see if they know what their congressman has been up to, show them a good alternative, me, and see just what they're concerned about and how much they actually do care about Palestine and Israel. Do you know who this man is?
I don't.
No.
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 This man is Congressman Richie Torres, and he represents this district. And it was revealed that he is investing in companies that make weapons, missiles, bombs, and bullets. He himself personally was investing in these companies that send weapons and missiles to Israel. He's doing it under your name. For the last 4 years, was voting to send money and weapons to Israel. This video is of journalists at a hospital in Palestine, live TV. You see Israel just strikes them out of nowhere. Just watch that. Boom.
Oh.
So, these are journalists at a hospital in Gaza,
What are
in
they
Palestine. They're there. They're just working there at the hospital. All of a sudden, boom, an Israeli missile.
Wow.
A missile hit these journalists on live TV. That is what Richie Torres is voting to send money and weapons to. He is the biggest cheerleader for the genocide that's happening in Palestine.
Oh, wow.
He invested money into the companies that make missiles and weapons that are sent to Israel.
For real?
Yeah. I'm dead ass.
That is, I don't know, that is something else.
That's the person who represents you right now.
Oh, no, but we don't want him. We want you there. Get it. Kick him out.
Remember the name Jose Vega.
Jose Vega? Okay.
We need a new Congress.
Yeah.
You do need a new Congress,
do.
you need a new congressman. My name's Jose Vega. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Jose Vega.
Jose Vega. Check my boy Jose Vega out.
My name's Jose Vega, and I want to represent you. Would you support me?
I would support you.
So to everyone watching this report, maybe your representatives are brilliant, good, courageous, doing the right thing. Maybe. If not, maybe you should run for Congress, for your local city council, run for something the way Jose is. So now to a report from the campuses. Daniel Burke reports from where the LaRouche movement is setting up on the public sidewalks near major New York City universities to talk to students and passersby. Daniel will give you a flavor of the discussion, that they're presenting to students a beautiful vision for the future and asking how the student themselves might become part of that beautiful future. And then we'll hear some singing. One way to show the beauty of humanity is through beauty.
Hi, I'm Daniel Burke with the International LaRouche Movement. I'm here on a major New York campus. It's, I think, the third day that classes have been open, and we're talking to people about the actual state of affairs. We're in a catastrophic collapse process. There's no future for young people, and yet there's this tremendous potential for the United States to shift and cooperate with the BRICS and with the Global South to make mankind better and more harmonious and to create a beautiful future. So we're discussing with young people what is their vision and communicating as best as we can that their purpose is waiting for them, that there is an opportunity to change human history, but it surely won't happen without a group of young, passionate people who commit themselves to solutions as those designed by Lyndon LaRouche and his wife Helga LaRouche, solutions that bring forward the common aims of mankind, like the World Land Bridge. And what we're finding is a lot of people are magnetized to the World Land Bridge map. We have it over there. People come over and start looking at it, trying to understand what this represents. And this is where we're trying to approach them and cause them to consider, what can I do for mankind, and what kind of society should we create for that purpose? Thank you. Better by the end. Yeah, it did.
You heard some of the applause from passersby who stopped to watch. So as you saw, in addition to talking to people, organizers sang. And while they were singing, they were holding their signs. Daniel Burke was holding the sign, "Mankind is not an animal." Jose Vega was holding a sign, UN General Assembly must stop genocide in Gaza. Now we're going to watch two back-to-back reports of the LaRouche movement organizing this past Monday, which in the United States was Labor Day. We were out there presenting the idea that the United States can join the new paradigm process of peace and development. First, Daniel Platt in Southern California will report from where we were out by the Southern California Labor Commission in Wilmington, California, where activists from various groups told us that they hate both the Democratic and Republican parties. And they liked our idea that the United States could join a development perspective. Then we'll hear from Joe Jennings in Houston. I'm sorry that the video is a bit blurry, but I promise we were very sharp out there, giving people who had assembled at that labor rally to stand up for the rights of workers. We were giving them something that wasn't really otherwise present at that event, which is big solutions, big ideas to solve the crisis.
Hello, this is Daniel Platt, organizing at the Labor Day meeting of the Southern California Labor Coalition in Wilmington. It's very noisy here. I hope you can hear me. We've been meeting a lot of people, a lot of activists from various groups. We're finding general contempt for both political parties, and we're finding interest in the United States joining the BRICS and adopting a development perspective instead of the policy of trying to force the rest of the world to grovel before us. So I'm here with my wife Lena, and it's a festive atmosphere, lots of loud music, but we are having some interesting discussions.
Hello, this is Joe with Schiller Institute and LaRouche here in Houston, Texas. We've been at a rally here today on Labor Day, which was a big coalition of forces who are standing up against the economic injustices, against the forced deportations, against the runaway abuses of the billionaire class and so forth. But I have to say very, very short on solutions in terms of the large picture. But we've been saying that the best peace plan is to participate in the development of the world, to work with the BRICS nations, whose spirit of development is very much consistent with the Declaration of Independence of our founding documents. So that's it for today from Houston. Thank you very much.
Now to France. East of Paris, we have a few photos from a sidewalk campaign activity by the Solidarité et Progrès party of Jacques Cheminade. Candidate Sebastian Paramoni, who we see in the first photo here, distributing literature, is running to be a member of the National Assembly. And while elections are not currently scheduled to occur again until 2027, if the current government falls, new elections could occur much sooner. So our candidates are out there organizing. And the signs that you saw there, one of them said, "Liberating France and the world from a financial and colonial oligarchy," and then "Against the current genocide and a plan to build the peace." That's certainly on the Israel-Palestine with a map of our Oasis Plan proposal, the plan to build the peace. Now we go to Sweden. We have a couple of photos from Schiller Institute's Ulf Sandmark at a demonstration over the weekend for Palestine in Stockholm. Here, Ulf is holding up a sign that translates to, "Sweden's weapons assistance to Israel is assistance to genocide." Now, we have a couple rally photos as well, give you a flavor for it. In a demonstration with just 300 participants, we got out 200 leaflets that were bringing up UN Resolution 377, which very few people there had known about. This is the resolution that allows the General Assembly at the United Nations to override the vetoes of the UN Security Council. Very important. So for more on this demo and other work of the LaRouche movement in Sweden and to get in touch, I recommend Ulf Sandmark's Facebook page. Now we have a cultural intervention. LaRouche movement historian Bob Wesser has begun a new history series, America's 250th Moments. These are short videos filmed on the ground at sites of important events that took place during the year of our American Revolution.
In today's episode, we visit New Windsor, New York, the site of the National Purple Heart Hall of Honor. So I'm standing here in front of the Museum of the Purple Heart. This is the National Museum of the Purple Heart. And originally, in 1782, Washington created something called the Badge of Military Merit. And the idea was Washington wanted to promote sergeants, privates, corporals, that is non-commissioned officers, to higher ranks based on their merit. Well, some of the people in the Continental Congress didn't want to do that. So Washington created this badge of military merit. So he could basically acknowledge the service, the heroic service of people, soldiers that were not non-commissioned officers. He created this a few miles away at his headquarters in Newburgh. The same year, 1782, the Committee for the Badge of Merit met here. There's a big building here called the Temple of the Temple of Virtue. And they had a book called the Book of Virtue. And anybody that was going to get this badge of military merit had their name put in this Book of Virtue. Now, unfortunately, we've lost the book. And after the revolution, this whole idea just kind of waned away, faded away. And it was revived, interestingly enough, on the 200th, the bicentennial of Washington's birth in 1932. And Pershing had a role in this, General Pershing. Hamilton Fish had a role in this. And what they wanted to do is revive this battle, this Medal of Merit, a badge of merit to veterans of the First World War, American veterans of the First World War. And so they basically brought a whole bunch of them here to the cantonment in 1932 and resurrected this Battle of Merit, but they renamed it to the Purple Heart. And essentially it evolved into the Purple Heart being a award for soldiers injured or wounded in combat. And that was not originally what it was. It was exactly as Washington had designed. So it's very interesting. This is perfect George Washington through and through, completely committed to the Republican, small r, idea of you advance by virtue of merit, of what you contribute. It doesn't matter where you come from and whether you're a commissioned officer or what have you, you get acknowledged. So that's the story of the Purple Heart. We should revive that today across the board.
So that was one of the first episodes of this new historical series. Others are welcome to make and contribute other moments recorded at your favorite historical sites. If you have a historical site that you know and you're up for making one of these reports, send your contact info in to info@LaRoucheOrganization.com and we'll get you directly in touch with Bob. Now we have an item of LaRouche in the news. Sebastian Paramoni, who we saw earlier out on the public sidewalks, on the streets, talking to real people and campaigning in France, was interviewed yesterday on a program of China's CGTN. This interview was on their French-speaking channel, so the audience would be France, much of Africa, other parts of the world. The interview was titled Memory and Peace. And the discussion covered both history, the 80th anniversary of the war against fascism in World War II, which included China's war of resistance against the Japanese invasion, and It discussed questions of the turbulent moment of today, where humanity is again at a crossroads.
Voici la réponse de Monsieur Sébastien Bérimoni.
Paramoni spoke on the need for truth to be told about history in our evaluations, as with the need to acknowledge the leading role of Russia in the defeat of Nazism. He elaborated on a shared history of France and China, which includes collaboration in several wars and includes leaders like Deng Xiaoping coming to France to work and study. Paramoni said that an understanding of this history would help rebalance from a NATO narrative that is Russophobic and xenophobic to a view that would allow considerations of cooperation between peoples and nations. We saw tonight some of this past week's work of the international LaRouche movement to change the paradigm. End the wars, the looting, the destruction, the collapse. Interject instead optimism, and qualify that optimism by choosing peace and policies for development. Tonight we saw this good work being done on the streets in the United States, Sweden, and France. We saw organizers take on U.S. universities with ideas and beauty. And we saw fresh efforts by historian Bob Wesser and French candidate Sébastien Paramoni to bring forth truthful understandings of history which can inform us to do the right thing today. Please consider, viewer, anything more that you might be able to do to help with this work. Circulate this video and other materials of the LaRouche movement. Donate. And also continue putting comments on these videos. We often have a bit of a delightful exchange in the comments. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week.